This is inner motion. We don't run from the dark, we walk straight into it, and we come out unrecognizable. Every delay is self-betrayal. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right time, but deep down, you know you're not waiting, you're hiding. You convince yourself you're being strategic, that you're preparing, that you're waiting for clarity. But all you're really doing is avoiding the discomfort of starting. And every day you postpone the work you know you should do. You teach yourself to tolerate living beneath your own potential. That betrayal cuts deeper than failure, because failure means you stepped into the fight. Delay means you walked away before the battle even began. You start calling it patience, wisdom, self-care, but you know it's avoidance. You know it's fear dressed up as logic. And the longer you let it slide, the quieter that inner voice becomes, until one day you can't hear it at all. You'll think you've matured, but what you've really done is bury the part of you that believed in more. Every delay is a vote for the weaker version of yourself. It's a choice to stand still while life moves past you. Time will not slow down to match your hesitation. It will move forward without mercy, dragging you along whether you're ready or not. And when you look back, you won't just see the chances you missed. You'll see the man you could have become staring back at you, knowing you left him behind. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending you have forever. Move now. Act now. Because every delay is self-betrayal, and you've betrayed yourself enough. You think delaying is harmless? You think you're buying yourself time, when in reality you're selling pieces of yourself you'll never get back. Every moment you hesitate is a quiet agreement to live smaller than you were meant to. And here's the truth: the habit of delay doesn't just steal your opportunities, it rewires your identity. It teaches you to be the kind of person who stands still while life moves on without you. Each time you choose later, you're voting for the weaker version of yourself to lead the way. That version thrives on excuses, feeds on hesitation, and survives only by convincing you that now is never the right time. And the more you listen to him, the louder he becomes, until his voice drowns out the one inside you that's begging for movement. Delay is not rest. Delay is decay. It's the slow erosion of your courage, your hunger, and your will to act. And if you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you'll wake up one day and realize the perfect moment never came, because it doesn't exist. You make the moment perfect by moving, by acting, by refusing to give delay another inch of your life. So stop treating time like it's yours to waste. Every delay is self-betrayal, and the cost is always higher than you think. You think delaying is harmless? You think you're buying yourself time, when in reality you're selling pieces of yourself you'll never get back. Every moment you hesitate is a quiet agreement to live smaller than you were meant to. And here's the truth: the habit of delay doesn't just steal your opportunities, it rewires your identity. It teaches you to be the kind of person who stands still while life moves on without you. Each time you choose later, you're voting for the weaker version of yourself to lead the way. That version thrives on excuses, feeds on hesitation, and survives only by convincing you that now is never the right time. And the more you listen to him, the louder he becomes, until his voice drowns out the one inside you that's begging for movement. Delay is not rest. Delay is decay. It's the slow erosion of your courage, your hunger, and your will to act. And if you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you'll wake up one day and realize the perfect moment never came, because it doesn't exist. You make the moment perfect by moving, by acting, by refusing to give delay another inch of your life. So stop treating time like it's yours to waste. Every delay is self-betrayal, and the cost is always higher than you think. And here's the part you don't want to admit: the longer you delay, the more you train your mind to be okay with not trying. You normalize hesitation. You make it feel safe, familiar, even comfortable. But comfort is not where your life changes. Comfort is the graveyard of ambition. Every day you choose it, you bury a little more of the man you could have been. You think you're protecting yourself from failure, but all you're doing is guaranteeing it. Because the dream you never chase is the dream you will always lose. And one day, you'll look back and realize it wasn't bad luck or lack of opportunity or timing. It was you. You stood still when you should have moved. Hesitation has a way of disguising itself as thoughtfulness. You tell yourself you're just thinking it through, but really, You're letting fear write the plan. For your life, you can dress it up however you want. Strategy, patience, caution. But deep down, you know it's the same thing. You're scared to move. The cruel thing about fear is that it doesn't always feel like panic. Sometimes it feels like comfort, like staying exactly where you are because it's familiar. But familiarity will suffocate you long before risk ever will. If you want to breathe again, you have to move into the unknown. You have to accept that fear will always be there, but courage only shows up when you act anyway. The longer you stand still, the more your body forgets what momentum feels like. The more your mind believes this is all there is. And that's how people die long before they're buried. Not from lack of years, but from lack of movement. Every time you delay, you give the future version of yourself less to work with. You rob him of progress, of skill, of the discipline that only comes from showing up today. And one day, you'll meet him, the man you could have been, and he'll look at you with a mix of disappointment and pity, because he'll know you had the chance to build him, and you chose not to. He'll know you traded him for distractions, for comfort, for excuses. That meeting will hurt more than any failure, because you can't go back and fix it. You can only live with the knowledge that you abandoned him before he even had the chance to exist. And maybe you'll try to explain it to yourself, to justify it, but deep down, you'll know the truth. You didn't run out of time. You just refused to use it. The dangerous thing about delay is that it feels safe in the moment. You tell yourself you'll start when you're ready, when you've learned more, when the circumstances are better. But readiness is a mirage. It disappears the closer you think you are to it. Every day you delay, you give up ground that will take twice as long to reclaim. Discipline, momentum, and courage are built through repetition, not waiting. If you only move when everything feels perfect, you'll never move at all. The truth is, fear and doubt will be there no matter when you start. The only way to weaken them is to take action, despite their presence. Every time you take a step forward, you train your mind to see movement as the default, not hesitation. This is how you grow into someone who acts without waiting for permission, someone who doesn't need certainty to move. Delay is self-sabotage, dressed as patience, and the longer you let it linger, the harder it is to break free. And delay has another cost. It starves your potential. You have no idea what you are capable of until you start pushing against your own limits, until you face the discomfort that forces you to grow. Every day you hesitate, you're not just standing still. You're drifting further away from the person you could become. The opportunities you could have seized are being taken by those who decided to move, imperfect and unready. The skills you could have built are left to rust in your imagination. Time doesn't pause, so you can catch up. It keeps running. And every moment you waste makes the climb harder. The worst part is, you know this. You feel the quiet frustration at night when your head hits the pillow. You hear the whisper in the back of your mind reminding you that you're capable of more. But whispers turn into silence if you keep ignoring them. And once they go silent, it's not just your dreams that die, it's the part of you that believed. You could make them real when you delay. You're not just losing time, you're losing identity. You're teaching yourself that it's okay to ignore the fire inside you. And over time, that fire doesn't just dim, it goes out. The projects you dreamed of, the skills you wanted to master, the life you envisioned for yourself, they all become ghost versions of what could have been. The cost of delay is not measured in hours or days, but in the parts of yourself you never develop. You can't afford to keep betraying your future self for the comfort of now. Every decision you make is either building the man you want to become or eroding him. And here's the brutal truth. If you don't act now, you may never meet him. He will remain an idea, a shadow, a maybe that never had the chance to become a was. And when you finally look in the mirror years from now, you won't just see yourself, you'll see the gap between who you are and who you could have been. That gap is created by hesitation, widened by fear, and solidified by inaction. The only way to close it is to move now, while there is still time, while the fire is still warm enough to catch. Because once it's cold, it takes 10 times the effort to reignite it, and some people never do. Your life is not endless, and your chances are not infinite. Every later you choose is a never in disguise. The clock is always moving, and it doesn't care how ready you feel. Your life is a series of now and never moments, and if you keep choosing later, you'll eventually run out of now. The longer you wait, the heavier the weight becomes, not just in your body, but in your mind. The projects pile up in your head until they're not dreams anymore. They're burdens. And every time you think about starting, you remember how long you've waited, and the shame makes you wait even longer. This is the trap of delay. It feeds itself. It convinces you that because you didn't start yesterday, you shouldn't start today. But the truth is, today is the only day that matters. You can't fix yesterday, and tomorrow is built on what you do now. If you want to break the cycle, you have to take the smallest step forward right now before your mind talks you out of it. Movement is the antidote to hesitation. Even a small action can shatter the illusion that you're stuck. Because you're not stuck, you're just still. And stillness is a choice. You tell yourself that you're buying time, that you're waiting for clarity. But the truth is, clarity comes from movement. Each step forward, no matter how small, creates the momentum that reveals the next step. When you delay, you deny yourself the chance to learn, to adapt, to grow. You let your fear set the boundaries of your life, and over time, those boundaries shrink until they become a cage. You weren't meant to live small. You weren't meant to watch other people live the life you want while you stand in the shadows. Every moment you choose delay, you reinforce the identity of someone who watches instead of acts. And identity becomes habit. Habit becomes destiny. To change this, you must reclaim urgency. You must remember that the clock is always moving, and no matter how safe it feels to stand still, you are still losing time. The difference between the man who changes his life and the one who doesn't isn't that one had no fear. It's that he refused to let fear choose for him. If you can, take one step now, you can take another tomorrow. And if you keep doing that, you'll look back and realize you've built something you once thought impossible. All because you refused to let the weight of waiting crush you. Every delay is a quiet act of self-betrayal. It's telling yourself, I'm not ready, when you know deep down that readiness comes from doing, not waiting. It's looking your potential in the eye and turning away. It's letting the clock dictate who you become instead of your own actions. You think you're protecting yourself from failure, but all you're doing is guaranteeing regret. Because one day, you will look back and you will see the exact moments you chose comfort over growth, fear over courage, hesitation over action. And those moments will not just be memories, they will be the blueprint of the life you built. Regret doesn't hit all at once. It seeps in slowly, through the little compromises you make, the chances you don't take, the words you don't say. You convince yourself you'll have another opportunity, but opportunities are living things. They expire, and when they're gone, they don't come back. That's the real danger of delay. It tricks you into thinking life is generous with second chances. It's not. Life rewards those who move, who risk, who step forward even when it's uncomfortable. Every time you choose action over hesitation, you reclaim a piece of yourself. And if you keep doing that, piece by piece, you will become the person you were supposed to be all along. If you want to escape the trap of delay, you must act like your life depends on it, because it does. Every project you start, every rep you take, every conversation you initiate becomes a declaration that you are no longer willing to betray yourself. You become someone who trusts himself to follow through, and that trust changes everything. The man who moves consistently, even in small ways, will always surpass the one who waits for perfect conditions. Because conditions are never perfect, but action makes them better. The cost of waiting is not just measured in time, it's measured in the version of yourself you lose. The man you could have been, the strength you could have built, the opportunities you could have seized, they all fade when you choose hesitation over movement. You may think you're keeping the door open, but every day you wait, the hinges rust. You tell yourself you'll start when you're ready, but readiness is born from starting. You tell yourself you're protecting your dreams, but in reality, you're suffocating them under the weight of inaction. Action is the cure, not grand gestures, not perfect plans, just movement. Forward, even if it's messy. Forward, even if you're unsure. Forward, because life will not wait for you to figure it out. And when you finally commit to moving, you'll realize the truth. Every step you take builds momentum, And momentum is the force that shapes destiny. If you want to stop betraying yourself, stop waiting. Start now. Because the man who acts today will always be further ahead than the man who plans for tomorrow. And one day, you'll look back and thank yourself for choosing motion over comfort, courage over fear, and urgency over delay. You have two choices: stay still and watch your life shrink, or move now and expand into everything you were meant to be. Inner motion isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making this moment perfect through action. We don't run from the dark, we walk straight into it. And when we emerge, we are unrecognizable.